Welcome to the Football Historian Podcast.
By all means, enjoy it.
He will go right to the very top.
Dos, tres, cuatro times.
Here we go, Germans.
I will turn these results round.
All right, that's good manners.
There's animosity, but there's no fight.
You can't beat them, join them.
You make me feel sick if I look at you.
No, I want to fight here.
Don't drink, don't sleep with women, don't drive fast cars.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
Hello, welcome to the Football Historian Podcast. I'm delighted to finally be joined by David Raven. First question I've started asking, and it sounds mean, I'm sorry, but is who are you and why are you here?
Who am I? Why am I here? I ask that question
Yeah.
all the time. So yeah, I'm an ex-footballer, and that's probably why I'm here. I'm hoping. So yeah, ex-footballer, played for Liverpool, Tranmere, Carlisle, Shrewsbury, Inverness, Wrexham, and then part-time Warrington and Marine. So
Nice.
yeah,
Easy to remember.
yeah,
Can you look at one?
yeah.
Well, we're going to start off with something other than football, which is how close were you to being a musician and not a footballer? Because I've seen something about your other talents.
Oh, not very close. I still play now. I play the guitar and the piano, and it's like my sort of escape sort of stuff. You know what I mean? I like it. Me little brother is he's the talented one, so he's out in Australia doing that now. And we had a band together when we were kids, as you do, and we were all right. And yeah, but there was never any danger. As much as I might have dreamed about it, there was never any danger of it. But yeah, it's my little brother. He got the talent. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, you got a different talent, which was football. Started off, was it with Tranmere and the Whittle? Is that where like your first boyhood club?
That's
type
where
thing?
it was. Yeah, that's where I live. And I think I was about 8 when I sort of picked up. It wasn't like it is now. So you just go and do a bit of training, like skills and technical stuff. Didn't start playing games. I can't remember playing a game anyway until I was like 10, 11. Stayed there till I was 14, and it was about at that point when people started taking note, and no mobile phones, so the phone would start ringing on a Sunday night. So like different scouts from different clubs would ring on a Sunday night, and or just all the Northwest clubs were ringing, and I give everybody the chance. Although it was Liverpool was my club. I went to Blackburn, looked at it properly. Man City, which wasn't the city it is now, because I'm thinking, right, where is a genuine pathway to a first team? I knew a few lads at City, knew a couple of lads at Blackburn. I can't remember where else I went actually. I mean, the likes of Everton and Man United were ringing and stuff like that, but I mean, I just dismissed United. I must admit.
Didn't give everyone a chance.
Yeah, I didn't give everyone.
Everyone.
Yeah. So, but. Yeah, and that was that. And then I just always remember I loved it at Tranmere. I loved the playing with the lads and the coach, everything about it. I loved it, and I didn't really want to leave until I remember we kept getting games called off because the facilities weren't as good, and I just got frustrated. I was like, what am I doing? And I remember going back through the tunnel after being at Liverpool Academy because it was brand new then, saying right to my dad, that's where I want to go. They said, decision made? I said, decision made, 100%. It was always probably going to go that way anyway, but at least to give everyone a chance.
Yeah. So what age are you when you made that decision to?
I was 14 then. Yeah.
So that's a lot older than when kids start off now. But like you're playing at Tranmere, so is that still like academy level playing against other teams and that?
Yeah. So we were playing the likes of Rochdale and them sort of teams, whereas Liverpool were playing the likes of United and Everton and people like that, so it was a higher level.
A bit step up.
Yeah.
Okay, and then obviously you're a boyhood red, so that first time that you wear the Liverpool kit as a Liverpool player, even if it's 14, how does that feel? Just to remember that, or
yeah, brilliant, class. Because otherwise it was just a Christmas present. You're putting on a Liverpool shirt, and the next minute you're wearing tracksuits and representing the club, and that was brilliant. I loved that. Absolutely different class. I always remember we went to Australia, and I think it was 15, 16, and I'd rolled my ankle in the game, and Steve Highway, I was captain of the team, and I was going up to receive something from, it was like the fans out there, I can't remember quite what it was, and he always said to me, like, don't you dare hobble, you're playing for Liverpool now, you represent Liverpool. And it was that, and it was brilliant, and I loved it. Yeah,
and given the captain's arm, as you say, I think you went up age groups quite quickly as well. I've got you're a 15-year-old playing at the 17s and the 19 level. So did you feel like you were fast forwarding through, everything was going great at the start?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, so at that age, I was physically quite developed. I was playing for England and stuff at 15, 16 at centre back, finding it relatively easy because I was I'd say physically better than most. So then they pushed me out to right back for the 17s and 19s, which was, it was a good challenge, playing with good lads, good players, and they pushed me on as best they could, to be fair. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I was going to ask you as well about your position, because you said there you moved around a lot and that happened throughout your career. So maybe at that point, you know, were you getting coached to play? Because the angle I was going to go, like Trent was a midfielder. They said there's an angle for you here at right back if you get into the first team. Was that something you were trying to do, find the best way into the first team, or was you were good in all these positions?
I just played where I was told to play.
Yeah,
honestly, it was. Yeah, and I stopped growing, and it was that. So it was getting to sort of 19 where I'd been playing right back then for a good few years, and I'd then started to make that position my own a little bit. Albeit now when I look back, centre half was probably still my best position, but it just didn't get that like physical, the attributes that I needed.
Yeah.
So I played some of my best football as centre half, because that's where I was most comfortable, but I ground out a career right back. Yeah.
For whichever way you get in the team, I think the main thing is that I was watching some of your highlights on LFC TV, which there are still some there.
Is there?
One game against Bolton, you were captain and you scored. I won't ask if you remember it, but you're playing with players like Antonio Barragan, Danny Guthrie, Jack Hobbs, Adam Hamill, managed by Paco Herrera and Hugh Macaulay. So that whole year at the time, who were the best players? Who were the people that you were mates with? What was it like playing at that high level?
Great, yeah, all them lads, yeah. So like most of them, like me, the close friends, I suppose, are the likes of like John Welsh, Darren Potter, who's the same age as me, like Zach Whitbread, Mella, who's lived around the corner still now, and like Steve Warnock was a bit older. But all the lads was good mix. Like Lee Peltier was a year below me, and like we all mixed together. I say like Danny Guthrie. Good players. Barragan, like, yeah, cracking lad, cracking player. But again, he came across and I'm like, he's a right back, I'm a right back, he's my enemy. And it was like, you know, but he was a good player. You could see that. We were different players. He was flair, he was going forward, and I was like more of a Dennis Irwin type. So,
well, actually, obviously, Rafa came and it was a bit more of a foreign influence. Obviously, Gerrard, who was before, who obviously is not Scouse or English, but he maybe had quite an English traditional style of football compared to Rafa, although he was also quite defensive. But when he came in, he brought in his own coaches like Paco Herrera and his own players like Antonio Barragan. So did the whole club change a lot at that time? Did you notice it? And do you think that maybe blocked the pathway in for you because he was trying to change a lot, or not?
No. So like, because it's I had nothing to compare it to, but I did notice a change in, like, obviously he was recruiting because Alonso comes in and, you know, and like Luis Garcia comes in. I always remember them two coming in thinking, oh my God, look at these, like, ridiculous. But for me, in terms of like playing in that team, there was Steve Finnan was playing, and then there was Josemy just behind him, and then there was me, and that was it, really. Like Barragan was a little bit younger than me, so I wasn't really considered. And Josemy was injured, and I remember Alec Miller saying to me, like, push yourself, like, stop being steady Eddie, like, you've got a chance. And I just didn't know how to. I was trying my best, because I was doing well in the reserves and all that sort of stuff. And I do remember then going to, I think it was Bayer Leverkusen away in the Champions League that year, and I was on the bench, and Steve Finnan, I can't remember the actual detail, but he came off, and that was me then thinking, there's no one else going on, has to be me. I'm going to get on the pitch in Europe. And he didn't put me on, he put on Antonio Nunes, who's got 2 left feet, and that was me thinking, I'm never going to play for this man here. By that point I'd had like 3 or 4 games in the first team, done all right. Unfortunately, only won 1 of them and lost 3 of them, so that didn't go too well either. So that was the moment, and I thought, and by that point as well, there was some of my peers, so again I was still in the England setup, they'd played, say, I don't know, 50 games in the champ, and I was falling behind in my head, so I'm like, I need to go and play here, and that was in my mind now, that if I'm going to grind out a career, I might have to leave the club, you know what I mean? So that was a big moment for me.
And what was Rafa Benitez like? That maybe not even just with that, but just in general, was he? Cause a lot of people say maybe he wasn't the warmest of characters. Is that how you felt as well? Did he ever speak to you about your chances of playing, or? Well,
when he first came in, he'd seen me playing. I remember was sitting on a physio bed. I might have been injured, and he came in and said, "When is your contract up?" And I said, "It's up whenever it was at the end of the year." And he said, "Right, we'll get a new contract for you." And I was like, "Wow, brilliant!" So week goes, 2 week goes, 3, and I hadn't heard anything. So I went and knocked on his door, and he said, "Come in." I said, "Remember that contract that you mentioned? Is that still on the cards?" And he just said, "Yeah, just sign it and shut up." And they were his words, and I was like, "Right, okay." And as a young kid, I'm like 18, and okay, so I just jumped up and walked out the door. And I think the coldness of that, it was just his language barrier. I just think it's his language barrier. That's it.
Yeah.
A young lad coming in, he's just like, "Yeah, just shut up. Get on. I've got so much going on here. I don't need you coming in asking about this." And because he couldn't get that across in English, I reckon a lot of the time he does come across cold because of that. But I got nothing from him, no real coaching from him. I can't remember. It was just like build up to games that I was involved in. He'd say the odd thing for the tactics and stuff. He was more that sort of manager.
So was there a contract there for you then? Was
I
there one
signed
to start? Was that, were you like waiting for to talk it through or something? Is that what you were expecting? And he's just like...
He just went quiet. Yeah. So I was just thinking, well, what's happening? And he ended up signing, like 3 years, and But
it's good and bad. I can understand why that was him.
Yeah.
So maybe training, he's not put his arm around you, he's not teaching you stuff to do, but you're training with the likes of Steven Gerrard, Jamie Carragher, lots of other good players. Javi Alonso, you mentioned there. So day to day, who impressed you most? What was that like as an 18-year-old? Is it a bit nerve-wracking going onto that training pitch?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and part of me regret now when I look back is I never fully truly believed that I should have been there with them. Never believed I was deserving to be on the same pitch as them, and that ate away at me. Like as much as you give the bravado in the daytime, like I'm walking on the training pitch next to Steven Gerrard, thinking like, I ain't lacing your boots here, do you know? And he's phenomenal. Everything about the lad is just, I would say, however good you think he is times by 10, and he's that good. He was doing things with the ball. I'm like, the way he passes in, his physicality, everything. And then other lads, and I wish now when I look back, if there's a few, you can always, if buts and maybes, have I done that differently, and could I have pushed further, harder to cement a position in a team? I always feel that players can play at the level. So like, had I had a little run in the team, I would have played at the level. I believe that. But would I have enhanced the team, made them better? Probably not. So yeah, again, you have to be a Trent. You have to be someone like that who's to play for Liverpool. The amount of lads I've known who've gone and played in the Prem and stuff, and it is good, it's fast, it's just that bit faster, and you get punished for your mistakes. So I do believe that, you can find your level. You could find the level, but I would never have made the team better, I don't think. Yeah. And you find your level, and mine was a bit lower than that. Well,
you say there, though, obviously you didn't feel like maybe you deserved it, or whatever. Is there no one, like, Carragher's quite loud, is he coming into the dressing room and because he likes to look after the local lads as well? Is he telling you, come on, believe in yourself? Is there John Welsh, one of the other mates, telling you to get on, or did you think you just were trying to get through it all?
No, because we were just all in the same boat, and as I said before, like I was playing for England at the time as well, so I should have been believing more in myself. Yeah. And I probably came across like I was. But really, I look back now and I was like, probably didn't believe myself as much as I should. But like Stevie G was great with the younger lads, and again, I was mostly in awe of him most of the time. And he'd come over and he'd speak to you and stuff like that, and make you feel confident and comfortable in their presence. So he was good. Yeah, Jamie Carragher as well. So yeah, do you know what? It was a good time. I look back now, it was a great time. You pinch yourself sometimes, and
it's bad. Yeah, but it's bad. Mad that you know them when you sat here is mad enough, so to actually be in that position, it must have been pretty crazy as well. But we'll talk about a couple of games that you played in. I was going to talk about that Leverkusen match, and then maybe obviously what happened at the end of that year. Liverpool go on to win the Champions League. We've had John Welsh in. We spoke about it. Disappointment afterwards. Stephen Warnock did an interview somewhere else where he was very public about how he felt it wasn't fair, how you were treated. You didn't play in that Champions League, but you were on the bench at Leverkusen. Mm-hmm. How did the final go? How did you watch it? And then what did you think about what happened afterwards for you?
Because I had no input in the whole run. So then I was on the bench, and I'd have loved to have got on, but it didn't. So for the team to again go on and win it is, I've got different feelings than Stevie Warnock, who had actually input. And Welsh played as well in the build up to him. Mella played in the build up, and Chris Kirkland. These are the lads who didn't get on the bus afterwards, so they've got every right to feel aggrieved and 100%. I was there as a fan at the end of the day because I hadn't played, so I was just supporting the team, and I enjoyed the final. We jumped down on the pitch, done all that, went in the changing room. It was brilliant. And then when we came home, myself and Darren Potter were going to meet our now wives in town for the after party. So we said, we'll just stay around. We'll get a shower at Melwood and then get a taxi into town. And that was the plan. We weren't bothered because we had not had any input really, and a few of the lads were fuming, like absolutely fuming, and I can see why they were so upset. But we just we were in the shower, and I think it was Hugh McCauley come running in and said, "Do you want to get on the bus? It's going through Queen's Drive." And we said, "Well, yeah." So quickly shut your gear on. Taxi goes, takes us through, and we jump on the bus. We ended up doing the bus tour, me and Potter. But it was just, like, it's a great memory, but it's not something I can ever feel like I earned or anything like that. I was just there for the ride, and I thought I just need to soak this in and enjoy this because this is a once in a lifetime stuff. This,
well, as you say, as a fan as well, just but you know, you downplay what you did because I think Jurgen Klopp, when Liverpool won the league, I think it was Andy Lorigan never played a minute of football ever, and he made sure he got the medals for every game he was there, stuff like that. So you know, other managers would have made you feel you were part of it because you were part of it. You played in that season and you were on the bench in Leverkusen. So you understand why they were upset, but at the same time, that must have been just amazing. Sure, what was the best bit on that open top bus that you always think back on?
I don't know. I mean, got a good picture with Benitez with the cup on, and just seeing the sea of people. The sea of people was just astonishing. And I've never seen anything like that. Going through town, especially people hanging off lampposts and flares going. It was just unbelievable. And just to be part of that was like, that was special. Yeah, I do remember it. And then we had a Belton night out. A few of the players hadn't hardly slept from the night before, and then were like, it was good. It was interesting.
Who's the life and soul of the party that we might be surprised?
Oh, you must know.
What?
Didier Man.
Okay,
he was the life and soul, to be fair. He was good. A couple of decent nights out with him. He was a good, funny fella.
There's an infamous one in Tokyo. I don't think we're allowed to talk about that one. There's also wants to ask you about Burnley away. Which I think does that end? Was that the last appearance you made? Is that correct? I think.
Was it? Yeah.
Next game was and then obviously Jimmy Traore.
I think I got on off the bench after Burnley, did I not?
Sorry, you are Southampton and Palace was after that. I apologise. But so Burnley away in the FA Cup. It's famous for an own goal from a defender. You'll be thankful it's not yourself that it's attributed to. But I think I watched the interview with Rafa after, and he was just kind of saying maybe he didn't fully understand how tough the cup would be, maybe. But also, it's Burnley away nowadays. How tough Burnley is. It wasn't the same calibre of team, maybe. But if you want to talk us through what happened with Traore, and then also with Antonio Nunes in that match as well.
Well, the pitch, if you remember, it was called off the game, and then replayed a week later, and the pitch was a bog, and it was a leveller. So it was heavy, difficult to play on, and it just became, it was a non-football event really. And it would then, you take like a 0-0 in them games then, because tough game up against it, and then obviously Jimmy does that, which bad mistake. We all make mistakes, don't we? Do you know what I mean? And my memory of it was coming off, and obviously with the Liverpool fans, you feel like you hugely let them down for the start, and then you walk into the changing room and Benitez just flat out said to us, like, well, you've done yourselves in, lads, haven't you? You're not going to play again now. Like, to the young lads, you're not going to play again. I remember thinking, oh wow, all right, fair enough. That's harsh.
Yeah.
And that's me memory of that really. Yeah, in that game, and the disappointment behind it. Yeah, huge.
Is it Antonio Nunes was playing right wing in front of you and gets sent off as well? In that match, as you said before, that he had two left feet, but you've obviously had a few times playing behind him. What was he like in that match, and what was he like in general? As
a lad, he was a lovely man. Like, spent we roomed together a couple of times on the trips, and he was a lovely fella, quiet, unassuming, like Spanish lad. And just when I seen him play, I couldn't believe that he was playing at Liverpool. And that sounds really bad for me to say that. But I still can't believe it. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's my judge of player, but he got injured in one of his first sessions, just running down the line, and no one was near him, and he fell over and got injured and done his knee. And we young lads thought it was funny at the time and laughed, and realised he was actually seriously injured. We were like, oh my god! And he was out for months. There was no one near him. So yeah, he's just one of them players. I think like he came from Madrid as well, didn't
I
he?
think it's part of the Owen deal, was it? It was something to do with that, yeah.
And I think whether it's part of the deal where Benitez had to play him to justify part of it, I don't know, because he's putting him on at times, and this guy could not play football for me.
Yeah,
like couldn't play. He's not playing in the Football League, never mind in the Premier League. Like, I don't know. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Well, and he gets sent off that day, which maybe
yeah.
I'd love to see. So I did mess up before. You had a sub appearance against Southampton, a League Cup start against Palace, all in the following season. You made 4 appearances, is that right? And all of them were away from home. Is that possibly your biggest regret, that you never got to run out of Anfield?
Yeah, I was a bench. I was on a bench one against Middlesbrough, but yeah, I gutted that I didn't actually get to play a game at Anfield. Proper game anyway, in front of the fans. Yeah, but what can you? Yeah, I've got to play for the first team, and I'll take that. Yeah,
I'd happily swap places with you. So I won't give you too much sympathy for it. So yeah, obviously, one of the last things that you do is Istanbul, and then your time at Liverpool comes to an end. Yeah. How did that happen? Who told you? Did you know it was coming?
So now, going back to what I said earlier, it was the point where I'd had them games, and then I just felt it's not happening for me here. And I had a year left on my contract. And a few people in your ear saying like you need to play, and I did think I need to play. It's not like it is now where you've got the 23s and you've got a little bit more time to develop. I was I think I was 20, 19, 20, whatever it was, and at that point I'm thinking, I'm like, I need to play big time. As I said to you before, my peers had played however many games at decent levels, and so I knew I needed to go and play. The likes of your Potter and your Mellors and all my mates in the team, they had gone on loan places in good levels. So that's what it was. I had a year left, and I didn't want to rot in the reserves. Basically, what it was, because when I'd gone with the first team, I had a taste of it. When I'd gone back to the reserves, I'm like, I don't want this anymore. So we just started looking around. And Carlisle were on a bit of a upward trend, and they were the most interested and the most keen, and it seemed like good idea for me to go and get away from the area and make a career. And so that's what I did. Yeah, and it was my decision. It was I pushed it to push a career, really. Yeah.
Well, that's admirable. And want to talk about the rest of your Liverpool career after we have a short break, so we'll see you in a second. Are you looking for a Kazakhstani football team to support? Then I think FC Keme is a team you should support. Do you agree?
Growing up as a child, I always had FC Keme posters on my bedroom wall.
Well, and all the children of the Kazakhstani future will have FC Keme posters on their wall, because FC Keme is the team to support, and because of that, Tom has made us a chant that we're all going to follow. So,
up the Keme, da 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 da. Up the Keme, da 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 da.
Up the Keme. Make sure you follow them on all the social medias. All the posts and all the things you should follow will appear below us right here. You should be a supporter of FC Keme.
Live, laugh, Keme.
Right, welcome back to the second section. Thank you for not running away in the break. So I want to talk about the rest of your career after Liverpool. As you said, it was your Carlisle was the move that you made. Was there any other interest at that time, or was that just the one that stood above the rest for you?
I'd done a stint at Tranmere at the end of that season on loan, and it was a difficult one because we survived at the last day of the season, avoided relegation, and they offered me a contract actually, but I wanted to move away. I wanted to get away from the area and start afresh, if you like. And that was a baptism of fire at Tranmere. I've been playing in a team at Liverpool where we play and you're making angles and you want the ball. No one wanted it. It was difficult to play in. And yeah, God, I'm playing right back and making angles for Big Mike Jackson, who's at Burnley now. I think he's at 23. He's coach of some of the Burnley 18s, and he's just smashing it. I'm thinking, and in the end, it just gets drilled out of you, and you conform to the level, and you end up clipping channel balls and all that stuff. And yeah. But that was a bit of a baptism of fire for me, yeah.
So you wanted to get away from, obviously, from Merseyside and start your career somewhere else, which obviously, as you say, was Carlisle. I think you had quite an injury-plagued first season, if that's right, and then obviously the second one you managed to kick on, and you go on to make over 100 appearances for them. But so when you think back at your time at Carlisle, would you think that was the right move that you made to start your career, as you said?
Loved it, yeah. Absolutely loved it. It was tough, really hard at first. Moving away from home, I found it really hard. Homesickness and stuff like that, and just settling into like for instance, when I first moved there, we were washing our own kit and stuff like that. There was a culture shock for me for that. Big drinking culture up there, like Newcastle lads, Geordie boys. It was, it was good fun. But and as I say, the second season it was class. Loved it. We should have gone up to the champ. Got beaten in the semi-final with the playoffs against Leeds. So some great experiences. Played in some big games, and that was really enjoyable. I love the fan base up there because it's so isolated. They are passionate, and we had a good following then. It was and we had some good players as well. The likes of Danny Graham and Joe Garner and Kieran Westwood, people like that, like kicked on and good careers.
Yeah, and after Liverpool as well, does anyone stay in touch with you? I know we spoke to a few other people where like the aftercare isn't great. Your aftercare didn't really need it because you're having a career in football. But are you still in touch with friends? John Welsh was here. He was saying like he was texting Neil Mellor the day that they played each other. When you're bumping into old friends and stuff, is that still like the relationship still there?
Yeah. I mean, they were playing at a different level, but football's a village, and it is like it's such a small world that like you just bump into people all the time. In terms of the club staying in touch, there was none of that for me. I would have liked it, to be fair. I would have liked him to touch base. How you getting on? How you doing? How you feeling? Because there are times when it was tough. And like later on in my career, like fast forward it, I always make sure I make a beeline for the young lads who have moved away from home and say, how you getting on, how you feeling, how you settling in and stuff, because it's tough, and it's something that's not got taken into consideration, especially when you've paid your money, you go and watch the game and you expect to see a performance off a lad who's in a, you talk about like Nunes at Liverpool, doesn't speak the language, doesn't know where he's going, it must be hard for him, so yeah, there's I had a bit of that, to be fair. But yeah, I say football's a village. You're always bumping into people. Yeah.
And then injuries, we said it started quite bad, and then you get another injury at Shrewsbury, which hampers your progress. How was it dealing with injuries? Is it the worst part of the job?
So I thought my career was done, to be honest. Yeah, I had a hip arthroscopy. I kept getting these shooting pains down my leg. My groin was nearly like ripping off, and it ended up having surgery on my hip, taking like a nodule off the hip bone itself, and like a few other bits and bobs, and I couldn't recover. I just couldn't string together. I don't know. I think I played 25 games at Tranmere and then 25 games Shrewsbury, broke down. I needed injections. Ended up doing a plumbing course, thinking, right, I'm done here. And I was planning then. And then out of the blue was a phone call from Terry Butcher saying, do you fancy coming to Inverness? And I was like, where's that? And then I Googled it, and it was they're playing in obviously in the Scottish Premiership, and it's Terry Butcher, and it was just, yeah. And to be fair, I had no other option. It was a save me career job, because I felt like I was slipping at that point because I couldn't stay fit. And we went up there, yeah, and that, so Scottish football, the way it's structured differently to English football, especially down in the lower levels, is like you're playing Saturday, Tuesday, and it's relentless. Whereas up there, it was a Saturday international break, Saturday in the first couple of months of the season, and it helped my body then get hardened to the playing again. And before I knew it, I'd done 40 games that year, and I was like, right, I'm back, I can do this now, and my body could do it, and that became again probably. The further north I go, the more I enjoy it. It's like I thoroughly enjoyed my time up there.
And just before we carry on with Inverness, injuries. Fans hate players who get injured. You're saying, hey, you're struggling. How hard is it? Like, what do fans don't understand? Cause a lot of times it's, you can't be that injured that much. It must be as frustrating for the player. And what is it like mental health wise as well when you're going through such a tough time with injuries?
Yeah, it's bad, yeah. The best person to ask about that is probably my wife, and she'd tell you. So if I ever came back with a nice back, she'd be like, oh, fuck it, like, he's going to be a nightmare now. And when I had that injury, me hip, to be fair, I look back now and I was pretty low, like, at times, especially when I couldn't move and stuff like that. And it's your whole life, so it's like you're constantly going like, where am I going now? What's next? So how am I going to get my next contract? How am I going to play a game? And that's all you can think about. And when you're not playing, when you're in a position that you've got months ahead of you that you're sidelined for, it's really difficult. And I think even the fact that your body's not used to the training, so that it's used to training, and then you're not training, so you're not getting that sort of endorphin kick that you're used to. I think that doesn't help as well. But it's a tough time. Like I felt as I say, like especially with my hip injury but afterwards as well when I couldn't stay fit, like some pretty like low times, yeah. And yeah, I can't really describe it anywhere else. Yeah, mentally, yeah, it's a really like you can see why lads get mental health problems with it. Definitely, yeah.
Does anyone look after you? Who was the best person for you, or was there just nowhere near enough done for you? What you
No, you get on with it. It's ruthless. The game's ruthless, and and that's it. You need to be playing every single week. You fight week in, week out, month in, month out to stay in the game. And that's what a lot of people don't see as well. It becomes like it is ruthless. And if you're not fit, then you're on a scrap heap and you're done, and you're forgotten about. And so no one's got time for that. The best person to help you is the physio. And the best physio sometimes will say, listen, you don't need to be doing rehab today. We just need to go for a coffee and a chat. And I've had that a few times, and it's been the best thing I could have done. And you just get off your chest, how you feeling, blah, 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 and you go again the next day. But there's nothing there, really, apart from, as I say, use your wife as a punch bag, I suppose, and not a proper punch bag. Yeah, emotional punch bag. Yeah, that's it, really. Yeah.
Glad you put that bit in, yeah.
Yeah, no.
So we'll go back to better times, which is Inverness. You had 6 years there. Extra time winner against Celtic.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's the highlight. Can you talk us through what that was and how special that was? Yeah,
amazing. The whole thing, to be fair, the whole build up to it was just like it was special. Yeah. So the standout memories of that are, I always remember coming out at half time and making a point of taking in the surroundings with the Celtic fans singing "You'll Never Walk Alone," and obviously being a Liverpool fan, it was like, right, just remember this, because you don't really remember playing games. They are just, it's a blur, and there's little standout moments that you do remember, and that was one of them.
So just so this is the cup final.
This is semi-final, so it's a Scottish Cup semi-final at Hampden Park. Yeah. They've got most of the stadium. We didn't let them have the rest of it, but yeah, we had a little corner. So then, yeah, we're doing well. We were up against it, and I remember the manager, John Hughes, before the game, he was like, right, lads, you can choose here. We've got a choice. So we're either going to go after Celtic and get in the faces and press them high, or do what everybody else does and sit in the halfway line and hope for the best and hit them on a counter-attack. And we were like, no, we'll go after them. We had like a lad called Marley Watkins who could run up top and stuff. So Virgil van Dijk was playing for Celtic. So he was like, stamp on his feet, elbow him, do whatever you can, because he was a Rolls Royce, as he still is. Like, and we were going toe to toe with Celtic. To be fair, they got a man sent off because we were going through on goal, but then equalised through a free kick. So it's 2-2 within extra time, and found myself in the last minute of extra time slotting in the winner, which was for a shot of adrenaline, and I'll never have anything like it in my life. So it was just the most unbelievable moment. And then it was just after that, as if there was about a minute or two left of the game, I was thinking, just need to get through this last 2 minutes, because I felt like I was just gonna, like, tears are gonna come out and stuff. And that was like that was a major highlight, yeah, and a big high as well.
Yeah, and it doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah,
and is that the highlight of your career? You'd say that goal, or?
In terms of a moment, yeah. So like in terms of like pick out that, and then but then what we're talking about before, representing Liverpool is like, it was such a major thing for me, and obviously playing for England. So I'd just say that those three things, but as an actual moment,
you can live that again, it'd be that one. Yeah,
just the feeling, feeling that you get, yeah.
And then frustratingly, you miss out on the final.
Yeah.
Talk us through how that happened.
I just tore my calf the week before, like a big tear as well. It was just, I'd got a bit of a knock on it, and then decided I need to train is what you like, and then I trained probably too early, and it just torn, it ripped. But because I'd had my moments in the semi-final, it felt a little bit easier. So I was like devastated to miss the final. It was I'd had my time that moment. So I had a call. It's one of my teammates, Gary Warren. He missed the final as well because he was booked in the semi-final. I think that's probably harder because he didn't have that moment. So plus we didn't get a medal either because we weren't in the squad. That's how old school the Scottish FA are. Like they only have like 15 medals or something because I don't know, dinosaurs, aren't they?
So you should have a Champions League winner's medal and the medal from Scotland, I know, but
Yeah, don't have one.
didn't
Yeah,
happen.
never mind.
You go on. Sure, we'll start a crowdfund or something. Financial issues are the reason that you end your stay in Scotland, is that correct? And what was it like to say goodbye to Inverness after it was 6 years, were you there? Was it?
Yeah, 2 kids were born there. Iris and Otis were both born in Scotland, the Highlanders, and we loved it. We bought right into it. I was into the salmon fishing. I got into all that stuff, and I absolutely loved it. We got relegated, and it was a case of you were one of the ones on better contracts and are 33, so time for you to go. Fair enough. And so it was like there was a few offers up in Scotland, so I could have gone into the mid belt. But it's like you had kids then, and do you move to the mid belt, and then you might have to move again, and so we made a decision to move back to England and see what I could pick up. So that's what we did, to get the kids in school and settled, and ended up picking up Wrexham for the rest of the season.
Yes, I was going to say, you went to Wrexham. Yeah, the club that they are now with the Hollywood owners, is there any similarities you had from your time there?
It wasn't like that then at all, yeah. So it's moved on massively since then. It was good, I enjoyed it. I played a few games. Didn't play as much as I wanted to. Manager left. New manager comes in and he's got new ideas, so that was my time done there. It was only 6 months, but again, thoroughly enjoyed it. And then it was a case of then weighing things up. There's a couple of offers of full-time football, but they were like, you get to that point in your career where you're like, I'm not moving all the way down south for like, 500-600 quid, whatever you're offering, like rubbish. And it's like, so it was, I actually went to Filed on trial and spent me too long there, and I think if I could go back, I wouldn't have spent that time there, because by the time it was like the 20th of July, by the time he told me there was nothing there for me, like most teams had moved on. Yeah. So I ended up then just going. I thought, you know what, let's start the transition now. Let's part time, try and find some work, and find my feet outside the game.
Yeah, and is it Warrington Town? Is that where you went? Yeah. So what team were they in when you were playing there, and was it tough to drop down? But you say you score at Hampden Park, you scoring big goals, you play for Liverpool, and then you're dropping down part time. Is that a big decision?
No, because your career's coming to the end. The toughest part of it is the mentality. I find is the dealing with the non-league mentality. It's not full time. Other lads have got jobs. It's not their life as it has been mine for the last 20 years. So like, you go training sometimes, it's evening training, and you couldn't give the lads, I don't know, let's say someone wasn't training well, I didn't know whether I could give him a bollocking because he was tired from working, he just wasn't good enough, or I did, and that was a tough balancing act for me. And I think you speak to other lads who've done the same thing, they'll find this similar stuff where it's just the mentality's different. But having said that, there's lads who've done 15 years at non-league level, and I don't know how they've done it, because you're holding down a full-time job and playing football on top. It's a tough old gig, yeah.
And was it like, it must have been tempting to retire? Was that like, it's admirable that you carried on playing? It sounds like disparaging on Warrington Town and the clubs that you went to after, but was there not a decision there to just say, let's just end football and start a working life, or was that just the love of the game that made you stay in?
Finance.
Yeah.
It was finance. Honestly, and that sounds bad, but it was. I had to carry on, and I was trying to find work outside playing. So I didn't earn enough money in my career to say that I can just sit tight for 6 months and see what's what. I had to go and work and earn. So I'm like, at this point, I'm looking for work. I'd fully qualified, the coaching badges and stuff, and I couldn't find anything. So doing a few bits and bobs. Paul Card and brother Adam at Warrington Town helped me out with work. Doing a few surveys, things like this. So I'm just picking up little bits of work, and playing part-time was the easiest money I could earn because I could do it. I was good at it whilst I was looking for something else to transition into. And that was a tough time. I found that really tough because going places, I probably applied for 40, 50 jobs. I couldn't get interviews, and it blew my mind. I was like, I'm fully qualified, I've had a career, like, why wouldn't you want to interview me? And I just couldn't. I had to go knock on doors. I remember driving all the way to Crewe one day there was a job I applied for. It was an academy job, and I just knocked on a door, walked in, and they were like, oh, hiya Dave. They'd recognise me, and I said, I'm here to get interviewed for, I would like an interview for the job. And I'm like, okay, yeah, come back sort of next week. Didn't get the job. But that's what it.
Interview,
Yeah, that's where I was at. In the end, and then I fell into working still in football, but running football academies in private schools, so down in Ellesmere and Shropshire and in Manchester. So it was the same company. Actually, ended up really enjoying that, but it wasn't on my radar. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Done that for a couple of years.
Yeah, but so yeah, that is mad, as you say. What more can you do than have the badges and the career to back it up? But Marina wants to talk about as well. I'm sure you'll guess the game I want to ask you about. I grew up with the floodlights of Marine, and you could see them from our window. So we were in there watching. We welcomed you on the bus. We were stood on College Road. You played Tottenham. It's during COVID. Is it? From what happened afterwards, it's probably the best thing that could have happened to Marine, it being during COVID, but it must have been crazy how you get to play Tottenham anyway, and then to miss out on having fans. Was that like a double-edged sword, or how did you feel about that whole thing?
I honestly was just buzzing to have been involved in it. I thought that was all done. Big games, all that was all done. I even considered retiring before I went to Marine, left Warrington, and I was like, can I? Neil Young, the manager, says that he wants this leadership and what I had in my career, and that takes effort and commitment. And I was like, do I have this in me to keep doing this? And I'm so glad I did. It was one of the best decisions made to carry on playing. And I thoroughly enjoyed my time there. It was great. People were great, and that cup run again, I just didn't see it coming. So when we get to play Tottenham, I mean, by that point we'd beat some good sides, like like gone to Colchester and beat them. We'd beat Havant and Waterlooville, and I'd, brilliant experience doing that. Even thinking thought all this was done, and the Tottenham game was great. We sort of knew it was coming. We knew the COVID thing was coming. It was like the lockdown was on its way. I was actually more pleased it was at Marine than it was at Tottenham. I think I'd have been more disappointed going to an empty stadium. Yeah. I thought to myself, let's get him here. We might get a little chance of having a little reason. I just thought, in my head, I was thinking, rut the pitch, get there the day before, make it a cow patch, you know what I mean? And making them as uncomfortable as we possibly can. But it was the opposite. So we give them the big changing room and all that and stuff. And I was a bit like, just get them in the little one, put the heating on full, and you know what I mean, into all that. But no, that was brilliant. And probably when you talk about retirement, that was probably the time. After that game, I remember doing an interview, and I thought, I don't know when I'm going to play football again here, because nobody knew what was happening. It's probably a good time to retire, because when I did start playing again, it was, I don't know, start feeling things. Then bodies telling me it's time,
Yeah, well, that's it. I say it was just that whole event was massive, wasn't it? And I think people felt so sorry for Marine, but now you look at them, they've got the new bistro in. They put the pitches all 4G.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's great. We played at my six-a-side team. Played our 10-year anniversary game there.
Oh yeah,
I was captain. Mr. Penn scored their own goal. So
did you?
Yeah, I've probably done worse than you've ever done on that pitch. That's good. But that's the end of your football career. You made that decision then to go into coaching, and you were involved in Warrington Town for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
It came to an abrupt end. Would you like to say how that happened and what you're doing now? Or
so now I'm actually we're at FC United now, Manchester. Myself, Mark Beasley, which is good. I had to convince myself it wasn't Man United. It's fine. But again, great people, great club. Everyone's out in the right place. So it's really good working there at the minute. I just came back off holiday and was told I didn't have a job, which was surprising to say the least. And I sort of considered not going back into it and thinking, right, do I need this now? So when this came up FC, it was like there's only a couple of clubs really that I'd consider, and this was one of them because it's good for that level. They do everything right. So I don't really want to talk about the details of the Warrington, to be honest, because it doesn't matter. And this football is, as I said to you before, is that business, and that's what I thought to myself. Do we really need this? Do we need to be in this business anymore? But then there are people in the business and in the industry that are good people, and it's there's and you can work for them, and which is what we've got at FC. It's great, so that's why I went there and carried on, and we're good. That's the thing. We've been really successful. We've been working together for a few years. First year, we got beaten a playoff final, and then we got promoted, and then we good time in the National League North, finishing mid-table first year there. So we've been successful together. So that keeps you coming back because you can see that you're good at it, and that's sort of your comfort zone. And as such, while again, you still transition away from playing football, which is what I'm doing now. So I'm learning to be a quantity surveyor. Like, yeah, that's where I'm at now. Quantity surveying for a company called Benitez, which again, I've just fell into, like, which is mad.
Well, you never know what the next chapter's going to be, but obviously coaching, do you think that's where you're going to stay in to keep your love for the game? And
yeah, I mean,
you try and be involved with?
It always was my idea that I wanted to stay in the game and I wanted to coach and manage and help lads and stuff, and give that little bit. You say give, it sounds cheesy, give a little bit back, but like it is, because you see young lads coming through and you think, if I'd have known that when I was that age, and so I try and pass bits on like that. And obviously be successful, and that's a bit of a buzz when you're successful. Like, but then at the same time, when you're offered a career in something like quantity surveying, it's quite hard to turn down because it's quite steady. It's, you know, it can be well paid, and I'm not going to be traipsing around the country dragging my kids and get sacked after 6 months. So at the minute now, we're just weighing it up. We're just going and what's in front of us, and we'll do as well as we can. And we always said that, you know, it'd be nice to get to a place where we have a decision to make. You know, a good club comes in and says, there's a full-time position there for you. And I think that's when you've got to make the decision. Do you go back into it, or do you carry on doing what you're doing? So until I make that decision, I'll just carry on what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. Well, thanks so much. There's still more to go, but thanks so much for sharing the story of your career. We'll talk a bit more about football after this short break. Welcome back to the next section of the Football Historian podcast.
Sorry, Pete. I'm really sorry to interrupt you. But where'd you get that shirt from?
Oh, this Lazio number's just from Classic Football Shirts. Where'd you get yours from?
Thank you. Mine's from Classic Football Shirts as well.
Wow. Well, when I bought my shirt, I used the code TFH10 to get 10% off all orders. Did you use the same?
I did. I used a discount code. I think it was the same as yours.
Oh, TFH10? Oh, that's great, because if you want to get 10% off all your orders, you can use TFH10 at classicfootballshirts.com.
Unbelievable deal.
Hello, welcome to the third section. We're going to talk about football history as this is the Football Historian podcast. First question is, what is your first memory of football?
First memory of football, as in going to a game?
Just whatever comes to mind first.
Just kicking a ball in the garden. There's a video of me just badgering my dad, actually telling me, can you play football? And I think he's trying to watch the last day of the Open, and come play football with me. So it's just kicking balls out in the street and in the garden. Yeah.
And then, as you said, you're a Liverpool fan as a kid. Did you go to the match often, and what was your first game?
First game was, I think, if I remember rightly, Crystal Palace 9-0. Pretty long time ago. And then was it that one? I'm pretty sure it was. It's that vague. It's that long ago. And we were sitting in. I remember sitting in the Anfield Road for it anyway, or standing, whichever it was. And then I went to Tranmere a lot as well. I remember going there as a kid, and I was probably spent a lot more of my time at Tranmere when Aldo was playing and his team, Pat Nevin and people like Sean Teal and stuff like that. So. Yeah, they were good memories.
So pick one from each then, from your childhood before you get involved in the game. Best Tranmere game, best Liverpool game you went to as a fan or remember watching.
Best Tranmere game was when we beat Aston Villa in the Cup and went on to the final. I think it was the same year. I can't remember. Aston Villa. So we beat Villa, Prenton Park. That was brilliant. I always remember that. Great. And I'd say Chelsea semi-finals, Champions League. Liverpool game, brilliant. So
you was part of the team there though, but still.
It was just class, it was just such a good atmosphere.
What Joe Welsh said as well. He was a sub, I think, that day, and he was singing with the fans.
Was he sub?
He was just sat right behind one of the two, but he was saying he was singing. I think Rafa was a bit few with him because he was in full fan mode. But that's fair enough though. Right, next one then is just, what do you think is the greatest era of football? So like, it could be when you were playing, it could be when you were growing up, 70s, nowadays, whatever. What do you think is the best era of football?
Best era, it's got to be when, for me, between, I think now it's too tippy-tappy tactical at times, and sometimes I can be bored by it, funnily enough. So I'm going to say between 2000 and, say, 10 years, 2000, 2010. Enjoyed that.
Yeah, when you were playing, that's it.
Yeah.
No coincidence, Right, a couple of questions that I asked you to prep, only to help, because I've thrown people on the spot a bit, but at least you've had a thought about it. First one will be the top 5 players of all time. So it can be any position, whatever. But
Yeah, so I thought about this, and the ones who've not influenced me, but like the ones that like, you know, why you love football. So first one was Zidane.
Is this 5th or 1st? You're going first. Sorry.
First.
First place is Zidane or 5th place is Zidane?
Oh, first place.
First
Yeah,
place.
do you have to
It's up
rank
to
them?
you, but it's fine.
I thought they were just all 5.
Yeah,
If I have to
well,
rank
you were
them.
saying Zidane first, he's probably your first, isn't he?
Well, he's just a man, isn't he? He was like the best. And I remember rushing back when I was at 98 World Cup and just watching every single game being transfixed by this fellow who just floated around the pitch and just did what he wanted. I just thought he's the best player I've ever seen. And obviously, like, then Messi comes along and changes things. But he's still now, for me, I just love him. So 5 players. I've gone Zidane. I've gone obviously Lionel Messi because he's just like, yeah, we all know what he's like. Yeah. I've gone Stevie G because, again, the era that like you're looking at, and what a player, everything about him. And then I was thinking, like, for the 2 more of the same era, where Fat Ronaldo, loved him. I thought he was brilliant. And I just always remember his performance at Old Trafford, which I was obviously cheering on Real Madrid that day, and it was great. And then and Thierry Henry, I mean, again, he's another man. I just thought he's an absolute beast and a different class. I've never seen Maradona play. I never saw all them play. So my era, I'm picking them 5. Yeah.
You've got Zidane and Henry on your mug there, by the way. So
Oh,
obviously subliminally put that in your head there. The next one is the top a 5-a-side team of teammates that you played with. So
Yeah.
at any point, and feel free to put yourself in there if you wish.
All right, so I didn't know what the crack was with that. And again, yeah, you can rattle off Liverpool players, but the only one I'm going to rattle off because I played in this. I can't call him a teammate as such because it's Stevie G. So he has to be in there.
Yeah.
But I thought, like, other lads that I've played with around that time, around my career, some top players, lads who are still playing now actually. So Kieran Westwood in goal. We played for Carlisle with him, went on good career at Chef Wednesday and other places. Obviously Stevie G in there just because he can do what he wants. Goals, I thought Danny Graham, he's top finisher, goal scorer. He can just goal line, play up the top. Good drinker, good lad, good night out as well. So you can sort the after party.
That's important, yeah.
Yeah, absolute bonus. And then I put Ryan Christie in there. He's still playing at Bournemouth now, and he's top draw. Like he was coming through the ranks at Inverness when we were there, and we always knew from the first minute you seen him that this guy's got a future. So yeah, he's in the team. And that's 4, isn't it?
Yeah.
So am I in the team? So if I'm not in the team,
It's up to you. You have to make the decision. You're in or you're out.
I can't. I'm not lacing their boots, to be fair. Yeah, go on. I'm in.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't, I would have.
But you've got a super sub, so this person can be your super sub. That's what I say.
Well, yeah. Again, I've got to think about this as well because a player you've probably never heard of that. He was brilliant to have in the team, and we played up in Scotland, and he's been great wherever he's gone. Is Graham Shinney. He's like a workhorse, runs everywhere. He's like just top draw lad, and I thought, yeah, do you know what? If I want someone in my team, someone in the trenches with me, I'll have him. He's good lad, good player.
It's decent 5-a-side team, to be fair. Okay, great. And then want to ask, who's the greatest manager that you played under? So who would be the person overseeing that 5-a-side team if you had to pick?
As a coach, John Hughes. So he was the guy up in Scotland. Again, probably no one's heard of him down here. But I got to like 30, and you think that you know football and you understand it, and I was probably slightly early, but he taught me things and got us playing in a way that was like wow, and I felt like I was 18 again back at Liverpool and got the best out of me at that age. Management like style, sometimes we clashed, but what a man. And as a coach more than a manager, he was a great coach. Mixed with, I would say, I'm trying to think now, management style, John Ward at Carlisle, like as a manager more than a coach, a really good guy. And Terry Butcher, so I'd split them two. He was good to me, Terry, up in Scotland as well. So if I could blend them, that would be a good manager there.
Yeah. Okay, great. And then the last one is, what is the greatest game from your career? So you can either take it occasion, how well you played or whatever, but what is your greatest game from your career?
Can I have 2?
Okay, go on then.
Tottenham in my debut for Liverpool. That was just so special. I loved it. White Hart Lane. Absolutely terrified before the game, and a few people give us man of the match afterwards, which was nice. So that was brilliant. And obviously, the semi-final at Celtic. So I'd take them too.
Two good ones, yeah. What's the dressing room like after that Liverpool game? Because I was reading about it. So there were a few reports that said that he did play very well. I don't think that's just you being biased. Where Gerrard, Carlisle, or the coach, what are they all rubbing you on the head saying, well in, that's Barcelona?
Yeah, so they, I don't think Stevie J or Carlisle were down there.
Just like whoever's in the dressing room that day, sorry, yeah.
Yeah. So there was a few pots on the back, and the one I remember most was actually Steve Highway. He'd come down to watch the game, and I always remember that when he came straight down and said well done to us all, like the young lads, and how proud he was of us, and that was nice. But like the days afterwards, I remember Steve and Gerrard and Carlisle, they were asking us about the game and saying well done and blah blah, and that feels great. That's a lovely feeling. That's good, yeah. And
then celebrations after that goal against Celtic, were they decent?
Yeah. Well, yeah, we had a good bus journey up after that. So we used to, we had, of the A9's like 3 hours long. So we had a good, stop off, fish and chips, a load of ale. And then I remember the next day there was a Scottish MP and this, obviously a dad by then. And that's a, deal with me hangover with a baby, and there's this Scottish MP in this cafe we were in, and he came over and said his congratulations and stuff, and I was like, wow, all right, fair enough. Yeah, big news.
All right, that's great. Well, we're going to have our final break, and I'm going to settle some of the biggest debates in football history, so we'll see you in a second.
Hi, I'm Warren, the producer for the Football Historian podcast, and we're here today to talk to you about the Patreon subscription.
Yes, so for just £1 a month for the first 100 people, there's a lot of benefits that you get, and I think £1 is a terrific deal.
Pittance, yes,
£1 only, and you get early access, which means at least 24 hours before everyone else gets the episode, you get to watch it. There's also an extra section, we call it the Football Historian Podcast Extra Time, and we ask all the questions to the guests that no one else gets to see unless you're a patron. And on top of that, you're the ones who get to ask the questions. You send them in, we tell you which guest is going to be coming and sitting in this chair. You ask them, we record it, you get to watch it, no one else does. On top of that, we do a monthly special. We did one last night. It was a quiz, you were there.
Yeah, bedlam and great content.
Yeah, so hopefully you can watch that. As I said, we've got a round on Linvoy Primus or Lionel Messi. We've done mastermind stuff, all that. That's going to happen every month. The bigger this grows, we're going to do it even more regularly. Hopefully it'll be once a week. But we need your support. So to do that, £1 a month for the first 100 people. Your early support will be rewarded. From then on, it's £3 a month if you want to support us. If you want to pay £5 a month, you get all that we've just mentioned, but you get a poster. Warren will sign it, I'll sign it, all the lads. We'll get a few of the guests to do it as well. We'll send that out to you. And then for £10 a month, you get all that, the poster, all the early access, and you get a free copy of any of my books. So I've done one on Billy Liddell, Crossing the Park, Tommy Lawrence. They're all worth at least £20. For just £10, you get a copy of the book, all the stuff we've already mentioned. We'd really appreciate your support. We cannot do this without you.
This really is a passion project, and anything people can put into it goes straight back into it. We don't take a wage. We're doing this for free. We're doing this because we enjoy what we do.
That's it. It all makes the content better. And I say from just £1 a month, you can make our dreams come true. Thanks for the support. Enjoy the rest of the episode.
The debate.
Right, hello, final section. We got the biggest debates in football history. I think I know who you're going to say. Gerrard, Lampard or Scholes is the first one.
Right, Gerrard.
And who's second and third, and why is Gerrard better?
Who's second and third? God, that's a hard question, isn't it? I'll put Lampard second and Scholes third. Probably most people put Scholes second, but yeah, I just, because of Lampard, I liked him as well. Why is he better? He's just all round better. Physically, technically, far better, superior than I actually think he's head and shoulders better, and there's no debate for me.
He's winning by a landslide, but I do have a lot of Liverpool fans and related people in that chair, so I'm trying to mix it up, but he is absolutely dominating it. Next one is Pele or Maradona.
Of the clips I've seen, I'd say Pele, because he's an innovator, he? There's some of the stuff that you see him do, and you're like, oh, no one's ever thought of that. I'd say Pele. Yeah. And obviously his World Cup wins and stuff, but I can only go off clips.
Yeah, that's why I ask it, because I know it's more of a history one, but yeah, it's a tough one to pick. Next one again, I know who you're going to say. Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi, yeah.
And why is he better?
Again, it's just, I think he's head and shoulders. I know like the data's like pretty similar, but like as a footballer, I like to watch footballers. Like if I'm watching a tennis match, I like Federer. I'm not a Nadal fan. He floats around the pitch. He's got style. Like Messi's got style. He's got class. And Ronaldo, like, you know, you can't argue what he's done, can you? Jeez. But the guy is just born to be a footballer. That's it. I think Ronaldo could have been anything, but he's just born to be a footballer. Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, and then if they are the best two players of the last 10, 15 years, who's the third best behind them two?
Oh, yeah. Difficult again. I'd love to... Probably should say Stevie G, but I feel like I'm just Stevie G in it tonight. And I can't say. The only other one that I'd say that I've loved watching, and again, he's just born to be a footballer, and I won't say Steven Gerrard because I've said him too much, is Xavi. I loved watching Xavi play for Barcelona. I don't know why. Never gave the ball away, just couldn't get it off him. I remember but the Barcelona team coming to Anfield and he beat us 4-0. I was sitting in the stand watching the game. And most of the fans at the end of the game clapped them off, as if to say, like, that's just a lesson in football. So, yeah, Xavi.
Yeah. We were literally just watching something on Yaya Toure before, and I think he picked him as his best teammate, which is quite an accolade when he's played with Messi and Iniesta and all that as well. So, yeah, I think he was decent.
He was all right. Yeah.
Next one, I'm interested as a player because I think it must mean a lot more to play for your country as a player, I think, than people from Liverpool traditionally don't really like England. But if you play for England as a player, you're selected as one of the best in the country. So I still think I know what you're going to say, but the question is always win the league as captain, I'll say, of Liverpool, or win the World Cup as captain of England, and how close is that?
I don't think it's close. I think it's a World Cup all day long. Like, I don't think it's close. Yeah. If you win the World Cup for England, you're just never forgotten. That's it. Like Jeff Hurst didn't play any of the games building up to the World Cup final in '66. He probably shouldn't have played, and ends up getting a hat-trick, and he's next minute he's knighted. That's what it is, isn't it? Yeah. So I don't think there's any comparison.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Okay, great. Next one is, who is the greatest manager of all time?
Good question. So you have to say, if you like what Jurgen Klopp's done at Liverpool now, he's created for me a culture. So if I was to say Alex Ferguson, I couldn't say that because when he went, everything went downhill and left, and crumbled. Yeah. So I can't put him in the same boat as, like, I'm going to say Bill Shankly, because what he started was carried on for decades after. The culture of the club, what it meant to people, what it meant to play for Liverpool, all that stuff came from him. And I think he should go down as the greatest for me. Yeah, being a Liverpool fan as well.
Yeah, that's good. That's certainly interesting. Yeah, and then the last one is, who is the greatest football team ever? So it can be a tournament, it can be 5 years, 10 years, it can be one game, whatever. But who is the greatest team ever?
There's been a few. Like, I wrestled between Liverpool from a few years back, from my unit. So Arsenal, the Invincibles, the United teams, to be fair, weren't that easy on the eye. I didn't think, when they win and everything. But the best team for me was that 2008 to 12 Barcelona team. Just dominated everything. It was just brilliant to watch. Just had the best players on the planet, and yeah, they was just different. They changed the way everyone plays football now. So that was when Pep was starting his passing out style, and he just completely changed the games to them. I'm going to say the Barcelona team.
Yeah, we've had a few shouts for them. I think that's a good one. I think I agree. Right, well, that's the end of our chat. Thank you so much. I know we've worked hard finally getting this. You were very patient because Annie's with us again, producing. It went wrong last time. Then we've had a few changes. My fault several times as well, so I apologise. But thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome. It's been brilliant. Really enjoyed it. Yeah,
great. And is there anything you want to share? Anyone you want people to follow? Anyone you want people to look at? Or are you just here for
I'm not really social media. I'm on them, but I don't really do anything on them. So I just follow the news and follow the likes of yourself. That's it. I didn't even realise, obviously, you were putting stuff up on your Instagram, and it was just good stuff, and I started following, and obviously we got in touch, but nothing to follow.
That's good. You can plug my stuff. That's good.
I'll
I like
plug
that.
Your stuff instead.
That'll do. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I do really appreciate it. I say it's mad for a player who's had that influence in obviously a club that I love, and I've been so involved in it. It's an honour to sit with you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Great. And thank you also everyone for watching at home, and we'll see you next time on the Football Historian Podcast.
to blow your sign.